Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Yes, welcome to the morning show. It is a Tuesday. It is the 21st day of October. And in studio with us, we have a guest from, of course, Galen University, who's the Dean of Faculty of Arts and Science and Technology there. And it's Sherry Gibbs. Good morning, Sherry. You're no stranger to the show.
No, morning. Thanks, Ernesto.
And joining us via Zoom is Ornel Garcia, who's a Cybersecurity Program Coordinator at Galen University. Good morning to you. I think you're muted. You have to unmute your mic.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
there
Sorry
you
about
are.
that.
No
Good morning,
problem.
everyone in the studios. Thank you for joining us, and good morning to everyone listening in. Hope your day is starting off well.
Well, normally we have you folks here telling us about Galen, its programs, and, well, you want to further your education, Galen is a good choice.
Place to go. Yep.
And this morning we are looking at arts and science and technology, and more specifically, cybersecurity.
Yep.
So who could tell us what cybersecurity is? Or
Yep. I'm going to throw that to Arnell, but it's a brand new program for us. So we're really excited to have this, a really important area. So I'm going to let Arnell, I'm going to throw this to him and let him talk about it. And it's Cybersecurity Month. So
Okay.
if any time to be thinking about cyber safety and securing yourself and knowing what risks are out there and how to protect yourself, it's this month.
Ornel, what is cybersecurity? Should I, the saying goes, the first thing you use in the morning is paper. But how does cybersecurity affect me, my daily life? Is it something that is affecting me at this moment?
Hi, morning, and yes, cybersecurity by its basic definition, for all users, non-tech and techie, is basically securing our systems, data, networks, and so forth from unauthorized access, right? That's basically the gist of it. Now, in terms of your question, how it affects you daily, you are using security without even knowing it. For instance, with your emails, you have your passwords, you have your multi-factor authentication enabled. With your banking information, when you log into your app, you have that 6-digit code that you put in. In some cases, when making transactions, you have your token that you add in an additional layer of security before you do the transactions, right? So in our daily lives, we use security tools almost like clockwork. For the most part, people think that it's something that they should be extremely wary of because they're uncertain of all the things that are happening or what they see on the news or the television. But that's not necessarily the case, right? And this is why we're here today. As Dean Gibbs said, October is International Cyber Awareness Month. So this is why we're here today. Just to give a little oversight on things that you can do to protect yourselves in your daily life or for small businesses, and why it is important, and why we also need the skill set here in Belize as well.
Well, we understand security, and I guess a lot of us understand what cyber means, but most of us are not technologically oriented as you guys are, and we go about our lives on a daily basis, and you're right, understanding how these things actually, in some cases, run our lives. If a bank needs security, we know where the bank is, we know where the vault is, and we know how to secure it. How do we secure ourselves against something that most of us don't even know where it is? I mean, where is the main? Well, I know in your language you call them servers. They're somewhere out there. They're sitting. Who's taking care of these servers, and who makes sure that those servers are so safe that you and I only have to worry about a password at this end of the technology chain? Or explain to me how this is set up. I hear about the cloud. I hear about AWS had a fault yesterday, affected millions of people all over the world. I think it cost like $72 billion just that shutdown. Yeah, draw me a picture so I can understand. Where is this hardware, or who owns the hardware? Who is protecting it for you and I?
And good question, by the way. So think of the cloud as someone else doing all the hard work for you. So, for example, your only job is to pay the hosting company to do all the maintenance. So these companies like Amazon Web Service, Google Cloud, Microsoft, they have what we call data centers, which are basically buildings with servers in them all over the world, right? For better connectivity depending on their region. These guys have their own security teams who manages the daily operations, who looks after the security and ensures that there's minimal downtime to your services. So technically, the cloud is basically someone else hosting your computers. And in that respect, it takes away from you, the end user, in terms of you having the small business, to having to spend on things like servers, firewalls, that sort of thing, because they cover all of that in their cost. So, in terms of Amazon Web Services today, that is a prime example, right? That shows us it doesn't matter how big we are as a company or how small we are still vulnerable to some degree. Um, in terms of now the end user having to wonder how are they secure in all these things, your role in all this is not to worry about how secure the data centers or the cloud are, because in truth that is what they're paying these entities for. Your only role in this is to ensure that you're doing everything on your end to stay secure. And by this, your role is to ensure that you have a strong password, you have your multi-factor authentication enabled, and you have all these things set up so that if, let's say now, the Amazon Web Service would have leaked, would have had a data breach, right? All our accounts, let's say, for example, were vulnerable and are now on the web. They would have our passwords, but because we have MFA enabled, our accounts would still be secure because they would not be able to um, log into it, so to speak. They wouldn't necessarily have to reset our accounts and that sort of thing. But basically, your role in managing this is only to ensure that your account is safe. In terms of a cloud provider, their job is to ensure that they do everything on the back end so that you don't have to worry about it.
When I have a little tablet here. When I crank it up, which is using an old term, you know, it reacts, or it is fed by a server somewhere, isn't it?
If you're using services, yes. For example, your basic email. If you're using an Android tablet, you have to log in with your Google account to get some of their services, right? Your OneDrive, I'm sorry, your Google Drive, your email, and so forth. With that, yes, you are connecting to a server somewhere.
You mentioned Microsoft. I think there are three of these web services: Microsoft, Google, and Amazon.
There's the
Yes.
cloud, yeah.
And you said they have servers all over the world.
Yes. In different regions,
Are these housed in huge
they're
buildings
scattered
and
about.
protected? Is that it?
Sorry, can you repeat
Are
that?
they housed in huge buildings?
Yes, these data centers are very, very huge. They take up like blocks in certain areas because they're not only hosting one or two companies, they're hosting like thousands or maybe millions of companies all over the place.
Yeah.
But they have data centers all over to ensure that in the event one goes down, redundancy is there so that you can keep your services up and running.
Okay. How does I think we just did Cybersecurity 101 at Galen.
Yeah.
um, Sherry, how is the program structured? What all would I learn and get involved in your cybersecurity program?
Yeah, so everything that you would need if you were somebody then to be able to go and be employed by an organization or a company or start up your own company or firm to do the security for somebody. So just like what Ornell is saying, you're the one who's going to be ensuring that all of that back end is safe. And Ornell can jump in and tell me if I'm off base here, because he really is the expert on this. But yeah, it's to ensure that Belize is going to have that skill set and people to be able to draw on, because more and more we're seeing how important it is. So what happened? I'm not really sure what happened yesterday and why it went down. But I think all of us have been hacked, or attempts, or phishing. I know I've been guilty of falling prey to a phishing attempt, I'm embarrassed to say. And so I understand how easy it is. It didn't go far enough where anything was breached, but you can see how easy it is. And so to be aware of that. And so to have people who have the skill set in cybersecurity and that knowledge and that know-how to be able to make sure that your organizations are safe, because you have people like me who are going to think, yeah, it would be fun to go to New York and spend some time at the UN for a week. And I fell prey to it. So
Ornell, what kind of experience or knowledge do I need to already have to start this cybersecurity program at Galen?
You don't need to have any technical background or any experience whatsoever to apply for the program at Galen. I structured it in a way so that it's catered to technical and non-technical people, because we have a lot of people with an interest in computers or security, but they have the perception that it's complicated, or I need to have a background in IT to be able to do security, when that's not the case. Because IT on a whole has a lot of different career paths, and cybersecurity has the same notion. So like if you would look at career paths for cybersecurity, you would see that it spans out like a spider web. You have your data analysts, your operations guys, your business analysts, your auditors. There's many different career paths that you can take, and not all of them requires you to have any heavy technical know-how. For instance, like to say, know how to crack open a device to fix it, or know how to swap out parts, or know how to do some hard configuring, right? They don't require you to do that. So because that is the case, you don't need to have any technical background. We designed it this way because we want persons of all careers to be able to take it, because at the end of the day, the way how security is going, we want everyone to start having security conscious mentality in the workforce, right? And also, if let's say someone who has a background in business comes to take the program, they go back to their organization and they can officially become their IT auditor because of that. And by extension, they can increase their security posture for their organization. So you don't need to have any heavy technical background to take the program.
But I would need to know my way around a computer, software, some programming, understanding algorithms and all that. I mean, unless I'm going to start from scratch.
No, all that will be taught in a classroom.
How long is the course?
For example, in the first semester, the 2 courses under the program that you would be taking would be IT concepts, that covers your basics, your Microsoft Word, your Excel, what is a computer, how networks work. That covers the basic. And the other class would be your cybersecurity fundamentals. That is another class that's very basic. So you'll notice that your first semester will be very much a new introductory thing for you that you can now pick up and start gaining your way through the program.
And so people could transfer in, if you've done an associate's degree, like Ornell had said, in business, in any area actually, but you're realizing that, or you have an associate's degree and you're working and you realize that this is an area that is needed and I need to get into, then you can just come in and we can transfer in what you have and hit the ground running. You don't have to worry about not having that strong background.
So you can come in and maybe bypass like the 101 lessons and so on and go straight into the security.
Depending on what you did in your associates. Yeah. We'd have to take a look and see
because
what
at the end of the day, isn't it for you to be able to probably design firewalls and help me protect. I have a company. I hire you as my cybersecurity guard.
Yeah, you could eventually
You
get
set that up
into
and
that.
you say, okay, this is what you need to do, and how to manage your passwords, what makes them stronger, things like that.
Yep, how to deal with your employees who just kind of
That's
go
right.
rogue, yeah, or who always are forgetting their passwords, or
Mm-hmm.
something happens with their multi-factor. And I know that's really frustrating for a lot of people, but I think for people to understand why it's so important to have that, as Ornell said, maybe a password can be hacked, but having that two-factor authentication is so important, even though it's extremely frustrating for a lot of us.
I'm sure that comes up, hacking.
Yeah.
It's so common.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
hacking now. So at the end
And
of the day,
sometimes
the
companies
course,
hire the hackers, right? They want to
yes,
know,
yes.
yeah,
So
can
you have good hackers and bad
can you
hackers,
hack
yeah.
into my system?
So this is part of the program, Ornell, how to hack.
There's a course when you reach the bachelor level
Yeah.
that's on ethical hacking. Yes,
Right.
there's.
Basically, that's what you protect. If you know how they do it, you protect yourself
Yeah,
against them.
yeah.
When does the lesson start? When is the course opening up?
Yeah, so people could apply for a January start or a September start. So it's already started. We've got a group in from September. But yeah, anybody can, or anybody's interested. We're also able to tailor courses for organizations that maybe want to upskill maybe their own IT department.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah.
This could be targeted
Yeah.
to companies
Right.
who already have
Yeah.
persons who are quite familiar with their system.
Yeah.
Would they have to take the whole course, or
No,
is
so
there
what we're
a
looking at is
certification course or
yeah,
something?
what we've been looking at is how we could tailor, certificate programs, and that's becoming more and more popular. These, micro credentials and these stackables, and recognizing that it's really beneficial for companies and organizations that they need specific knowledge and skills, and so we can tailor part of the program for that.
Ornell, in the course, you mentioned something about hardware. Which one is more important, or which one is the one that really offers the best security, through hardware or software?
It's a combination of both. There's not a set to say that, okay, if you secure your hardware, you're more safe, or if you secure your software, you're more safe. It's a combination of both. Because software can always be cracked or patched, but hardware as well plays a role, because, for instance, sometimes you don't necessarily worry much about the hardware because you think hackers can't get to it, but it's something as simple as passing by someone's PC and slipping in a USB with malicious code, and that can cause problems. So you just need to ensure that you're taking steps. For example, in these cases, you'd want to set up your devices to block USBs for end users, right? So if anyone passes with a random USB, it won't read the device. So it's a balance of both, to be honest.
That's when I'm going to jump in, because I think that's a good tip for people, especially if you're in a public area, and maybe even if you're at your office, and really big companies, is not leaving your devices unattended, and not letting anybody be able to just slip in a USB so that they can insert some.
Because this is it's a good subject to talk about, not only on the basis of a small company or individuals, but the way this whole technology, controversy is going on, the whole chips controversy out there. Countries are now banning chips from other countries because they can be spies.
Yeah.
How does this fit into your course, Ornell, when we look at Belize as a country and how vulnerable we as a country might be? I don't care if anybody hacks my little tablet. I don't have anything to hide. But
Yeah.
we have banks, we have the government, we have larger companies. How as a country, how do you see us, Ornell?
Well, I mean, to put it into perspective, right? If huge companies like Amazon can get hacked, small countries are just as vulnerable. A few years ago, Costa Rica's main
Yeah.
government system was hacked. It took them about 3 to 4 months to get back
Yeah,
to some sense of normalcy.
right.
So, in terms of now Belize being vulnerable, I would say we're just as vulnerable as any other country, right? Because at the end of the day, keep in mind we're doing our best to keep secure, but criminals are always working twice as hard to try and get into our systems. Whether we're a country, a company, big, medium size, these guys are always working overtime. And now with these new advances like AI, they're starting to use these AI tools to do way more sophisticated hacks. So in terms of Belize being vulnerable, it's just basically, like I said, arming ourselves and trying to get more individuals with the necessary skill set to be able to facilitate ourselves. I know that a lot of companies have security personnel in their IT department now, which is a plus. But in terms of dedicated security personnel, we are still short because we have a lot of guys wearing two hats in the office, doing their main admin duties and acting as the security personnel. Whereby now, because of how everything is going, and maybe it depends on the size of your company as well, we need to start training ourselves. We need to start training our staff because even though we may have a dedicated security personnel, what plays a vital role as well is security awareness for your entire staff. Having your staff properly trained maybe once or twice a year doing refreshers on security can play a vital role in your security posture as an organization because in the long run, you start to become security conscious and you will notice that your staff starts doing little changes that makes a huge difference in your organization. It's simple as for example, picking up and going for lunch and leaving your device open. After you do your awareness trainings, you might see a couple of staff changing that habit and starting to lock their devices before they leave the door.
Right.
So these things play a role with us.
Yeah, I want to,
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead
Because
then.
one of the things too that I think is kind of scary is the ransomware.
Yeah, the
So,
ransomware.
right, organizations and companies being held ransom, and you have no idea who these individuals are, how to catch them, and lots of individuals, organizations. I think Ornell can would back me up on this. Have to pay out
Yeah,
millions of
millions. Yeah.
dollars. Yeah, yeah,
And it's still going on. We just don't hear about it. It's so
yeah,
common now
yeah,
that companies and individuals are getting hit.
yeah.
That's why I bring up the whole Belize thing.
But I think
We,
it's just as, you know, I know once upon a time, and I was just talking earlier about this, that you didn't have to worry about, you could walk to the store and not think about, you know, that you didn't lock your house or that you left a window open or that your car door isn't locked. But unfortunately now, so all of those little security measures that we do at home for ourselves, we have to do the same thing
yeah.
with our devices.
We're also finding out that these hackers can get into a company through a personal computer in somebody's home
Yeah.
by putting in
Yeah.
viruses or whatever.
But then
It's
also
happening.
too for children and anybody who's got kids with a laptop
That's right.
and the
Yeah.
camera, and so if they can get a virus in there, and people can record your kids. People are able to see what's going on in your house.
And through your kid get to your computer, then you work for a company, and from your personal computer
Right.
get into the
Yeah.
company. So that's why I brought up the Belize question about, well, do we need to look at legislation or how vulnerable we are? Before we close today, Ornell, tell us again why we should, if you're, we should be concerned more about cybersecurity.
With everything that we're seeing and with everything that we're seeing online, we should be taking our security serious. Not to the point that we're being paranoid or wondering, if someone is always watching us, but it's basically doing our due diligence to keep secure. As Miss Gibbs said, back in the day, you could have left a window open, but now, you can't. It's the same principle, just that we're taking that aspect with our digital lives, right? Um, it might not seem like it's happening here in Belize because, in truth, a lot of companies are being hacked, but you don't hear about it because, for one, these companies worry about their reputation, and it's even outside. The companies always worry about their reputation, their stocks, that sort of thing. So, as it relates to us as why it's important, we need to ensure that we're doing our most to secure ourselves because cybercrime is a real thing. We already have the legislation here in Belize, but in truth, a lot of us are still very much vulnerable in terms of organizations, and it's simple things that we can do that can change this. Simple policies that would be free to implement. For example, having a password management policy, or having a policy about users bringing their personal devices to the office and connecting it to the Wi-Fi. Simple things like that can make a huge difference in our organizations. So taking our security seriously, half the battle is just knowing what to do. So we encourage you guys to apply to the program, and hopefully we see some of you in the classroom come January.
Okay.
And thank you for having us, Ernesto.
No, we learned a lot so early in the morning. So the next cohort is for January, is that
Yeah,
what you're
yeah,
talking about?
yeah. We're accepting applications.
And,
so-
and how long is it, a year? Or?
Well, no, it depends. We have, it's a bachelor's degree program. So depending on what people are coming in with,
Okay.
if they have an associate's or if they want to transfer and they're in a program right now,
Right.
they can come in and then we can look at what they have and discuss with them what we are able to transfer in for them.
If
But
there's
if companies, like I had mentioned, if anybody's interested too, we can always tailor.
yeah, I may have a company, I have an employee who's very involved with my computer system.
Yeah.
And I want to send them in. They're quite
Yeah.
familiar already how
Like there might be a
how it
couple
works.
courses,
Yeah.
that would say, you know what, this is
Yeah.
this is what I would need.
So you'd give them like a test to see how much they know, and they can move up in the system faster.
Yeah,
in the-
and that's something that we're looking at is credit for life experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just to check in before we sign off,
Sure,
the
go ahead.
program is also fully online. So
yeah.
if you're in the deep south or way in the north, somewhere, you can apply to the program. You don't have to worry about coming
Is
to
that
the main
dangerous?
campus.
You have
It's
all these
fully
people online?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have some firewall.
Yeah.
One of them might be a hacker.
No,
Yeah.
it's good, but yes, it's fully online, so you can apply from anywhere in the country, even out in the islands.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything we missed out?
I don't think so. Just for people to be safe. If you're unsure about emails that you get, I now just sometimes I actually almost deleted an email the other day because the subject heading was kind of odd, didn't recognize at all the email, thought it was sort of made up, and I almost deleted it. I opened it and it turned out to be legit, but those are the things that I'm kind of nervous
We don't
about.
realize so many of these things. Just
Yeah.
we personally have to be more aware
Yeah.
of what we're opening up.
And changing your password, not, I know I'm guilty for it, but using the same password for everything.
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Or I have a book with all of these
passwords.
passwords. Yeah, I'm not really sure how you're supposed to deal with that. But and I guess if you're not sure, then, reach out to us and we can
Can help you with that.
Yeah.
Okay, then you need a password so you can access your passwords.
Yeah. Yep. So much to have to remember now.
And also, we know that Galen does help you manage your finances and paying for your courses and so on. All
Yeah,
that is
absolutely.
offered.
Yeah, we have scholarships, really great scholarships, work opportunities, and then various avenues within our finance department. And the women that work in that office are really fantastic and work really well with our students, assisting them understand their backgrounds, what they're able to do. And so, yeah.
Okay.
Because really, at the end of it, we're, we want to educate people, and we want the best for people and the country. So
It's a real thing, cybersecurity, and Galen University offers you the course, and so you can start from scratch, or you can be someone working in a company, or just improve your own resume,
yeah,
that's where this is heading.
yeah, it is.
Oh, Ornell, the course is upgraded to include some AI.
Yes, there's a course. Well, actually, all the courses mention AI because that's like I said, it's becoming like the norm now. So a lot of the courses we do have discussions and work with some of the technologies talking about AI.
Alrighty. Sherry Gibbs, thank you for coming in, my dear.
Thanks so much, Vanessa.
All the way from San Ignacio.
All
Was a
the
good
way.
drive, wasn't
It was a long drive.
it? A long drive, yeah.
Yeah.
And Ornell, you're in San Ignacio. I mean, you're in Cayo?
Yes, I'm in Santa Elena at the moment.
Santa Elena.
He got off easy this morning.
Yes, he
yeah.
did. Thanks for coming in, Sherry, and
Thanks,
Ornell,
too.
thank you for bringing
Thank
us
you
up
for
to
having
date
us. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
on a subject that's very important. 4 minutes after 7, folks. We'll take a break. We'll be back, and we'll be having our friends here from Tropigas.